This year, I decided to treat myself to a full Vogue Knitting Live experience. So I bought Big Apple package, which included a few classes, a few lectures, and also admission to the cocktail reception sponsored by Go Sadie and a gala dinner sponsored by La Bien Amie. And so today I want to share with you my experience at Vogue Knitting Live, tell you a little bit about the classes I took, the lectures I've attended, and of course, meeting all the wonderful people that were attending Vogue Knitting Live. I arrived to New York City with my friend Anu. She's the owner of the Unruly Stitch, a store in Weston, Massachusetts. And if you're ever in the area, I highly recommend you to visit the store. I'm usually there every Thursday night from 6 to 8 for the knit night. But anyway, we arrived to New York and we went for dinner, and we actually got to meet my oldest son who lives in Manhattan, because that was the only day I could actually see him. The rest of the weekend was just one activity after another. So that was the only day I could see him. So we had dinner in a wonderful Italian restaurant, and then we basically crashed. Thursday morning, we started bright and early, and my first class was Designs Knitwear Like a Boss with Sophia Talley. It was really a fun class, and Sophia said that she's going to share a lot of information about how to publish a pattern on Ravelry, how to write a pattern, and all the tips and tricks on marketing that pattern and spreading your designs on the internet. So it was a very relaxed, fun class. After the class, I went to film the setup of the Vogue Knitting Live, and I'm going to share some of that footage here with you. It's amazing. The amount of work that goes into setting up a booth is just simply overwhelming. And of course, I saw a lot of people who were guests of my channel. I got to hang out with Bridget from Cowgirl Blues and say hello to Catherine from Brooklyn General Store, as well as, of course, seeing Claudia Quintanilla and her team from Unit Toronto on the floor setting up. So it was amazing to see some familiar faces and to meet people in person that I haven't met before, which, to be honest, this is my favorite part of Vogue Knitting Live. I get to meet so many people online and we become friends, but to see them in person, to chat with them, it's just like a different kind of experience for me. In the afternoon, I attended a lecture called Color and Fashion Trends that Trisha Malcolm was giving. And Trisha is the expert in this field. So it was so interesting to see all the trends and predictions for next year and upcoming years as well. But it was very inspiring. My brain was on fire. Like I had so many ideas of what I want to knit and with what color combination. So it was really, really informative and inspiring. In the evening on Thursday, the Australian team last year, when I visited Vogue, I met a designer from Australia, Dia Prue, and we became fast friends. I interviewed Prue on my channel. You can find that interview on Fiberchats. So this year, Prue convinced the whole team of Australian designers, indie dyers, to come with her to Vogue. And on Thursday night, they had a meetup, and it was just the most fun to get to know these people and to meet some new friends and hang out with Prue. And there were other designers from the US who were there to meet them. But probably the most unforgettable part of that evening for me personally was meeting Romy Hill in person for the first time. So Romy and I have been friends on Instagram for a few years now, and we've done collaborations on her MCAL for Falderal show last year. We did the Humans of Romy Hill series. So I know Romy for a long time virtually, and I have the highest respect. I think she is absolutely amazing in explaining different knitting techniques. She's just very, very knowledgeable instructor. And if you don't follow her on Instagram, you're really missing out because every day she posts some new mini techniques, tips, tricks of how to improve your knitting. And I know for myself, I became a much better knitter because of Romy. So I first time ever I got to meet Romy in person and spend some time with her, and we just chatted, and it felt like she was my lifelong friend. It was like this immediate recognition of souls, if you will. So that was like one of the most unforgettable meetings of Vogue knitting life for me. And then there were some new people that I got to meet. And one of those people was an Australian crochet designer, Shelley Husband. And Shelley has 9 books published. And we got to talk about her designs and her journey. And I offered her on spot to interview her right there. So I'm going to post this interview separately, but you will fall in love with this woman. She is just very fun, talented. She has this like sparkly personality. So stay tuned for that. On Friday morning, I took a class that I really wanted to take. So a lot of people are afraid of intarsia, and I was one of those people. I wasn't really afraid, but I was just sort of nervous about it a little bit. So I took a class with Shayna Billow, and Shayna is one of the most wonderful instructors because not only can she explain you in the terms that like everybody will understand, she also can draw any picture of any stitches and show you exactly on the whiteboard how to connect that, how to make duplicate stitch, how all the techniques. She shared with us how to make bobbins in 2 seconds using just your fingers. And you could see that everybody in this class really enjoyed it. It was very friendly, very easygoing atmosphere. Shayna is very encouraging. She shows you exactly how to improve your knitting, how to close the holes in your knitting. There were like so many new things to me that I've learned from her. If you have an opportunity to take a class with Shayna, I couldn't recommend it more highly. She's just an incredible instructor. And I talked to other people who took, she was teaching 5 or 6 classes that weekend. And I talked to people who took her other classes, and everybody was just so smitten with the way she was teaching. I know that Shayna teaches a lot of classes online. So if you have an opportunity to take a class with her, please do so. You're going to love it. In the afternoon, I took another class. It was with another guest of Fiberchats, Cecilia Campicciaro. And I highly recommend you to watch that video because Cecilia is just wonderful, warm human being. And I loved spending time with her. So she taught a class on sequence knitting, and we got to knit 3 different shawls. And usually you come out of the class with a little sample and you just learn some new skills. With Cecilia, she makes me want to knit all of her shawls. It's just like so much fun because it's simple. Once you understand the setup of the sequence knitting, it's very simple to knit it. So it's one of those Netflix kind of knits, but it's also fun because the sequence repeats and it just like you see this beautiful shawl grow in front of your eyes. So I have a feeling that this year, when I get to my December recap, you might see some of the Cecilia designs among my knits. After that class, I was supposed to attend the lecture with Jorge Locatelli called Meeting Towards Your Goals. However, my friend Steven Weber, who you also might have seen on my channel, had an hour to come and say hi to me. So I skipped the lecture. So we went together to the marketplace. The marketplace just opened in the evening on Friday. So we got to see some beautiful yarns, meet some friends, hang out together, and just had lovely time. And then it was Friday evening, and there was a cocktail reception sponsored by Go Sadie. I interviewed Michelle on my channel where she explained all about Go Sadie, how this idea was born, and what a wonderful platform it is. And if you haven't watched that interview, please check it out. It's very informative. It was a super fun event. They played some bingo, there were prizes. We received a beautiful bag with some amazing things inside of it. There was some food, some drinks, just beautiful, wonderful time to spend with your friends and meet some new ones.
I won't take up too much of your time. I'll just give you a quick, really brief version of what we are and who we're about. We are Go Sadie. We are a new platform for designers and makers.
Amen. Women, games, Stitch Dictionary, and pattern beauty. Congratulations, Miss Anna.
So this was what I did on Friday. Saturday morning started very excitingly with the class on, and you know what? I'm going to butcher the name of this class because I think it's Rusamini, but I'm probably pronouncing it all wrong. But it's a class on Estonian knitting technique that I took with Alex Bird. And Alex is an absolute delight. She's very knowledgeable, very encouraging. Everybody in that class succeeded in learning that technique. And it's actually much easier than Intarsia. It looks very complicated, but it was super simple. And the way Alex explained it, you would get it. She's just amazing at explaining it very, very clearly, very simply, showing it step by step. So we all got it. And of course, it was just a delight to see Alex work in her environment and see how she's teaching. I interviewed Alex on my channel, and I've met her a few times at different fiber festivals. But to see her teach, it was an absolute delight. After the class, I went to catch Shirley Payton's fashion show. One of my friends in Balgros, her design was part of that show. So I had to see it for myself. And I must say that Shirley Payton's fashion show was probably my favorite thing in that whole weekend, because to see how talented her students are, it's just absolutely amazing. Shirley Payton teaches a designer boot camp. And so her students are extremely talented, and it's very interesting to see the show that inspired by her designs, but each of her students have a different take on it. So here is a little glimpse into that show. Saturday afternoon, I had a guest appearance at Unit Toronto booth with Claudia Quintanilla, who is the owner and designer. And there was also Olga from Gotham Knits, Johanna from Time of the Heroes, and Max the Knitter, the designer from Canada and part of La Garçon. And we were there just to meet with some fans and to talk about Claudia and her wonderful store. Last year, I knitted, I think, 6 or 7 of Claudia's designs. They're just so beautiful, feminine, really beautifully fitting. And I'm a huge fan of her designs. And it was just wonderful to spend some time with Claudia, her team, and the guests. I got to meet Johanna in person for the first time. I have met Olga and Max before, so it was just nice to see them again and spend some time together. It was just like wonderful way to support Unit Toronto. And if you haven't tried Claudia's designs, I highly recommend you to try them. In fact, I'm running a knit along for Melody's sweater right now until the end of February in Fiberchats group on Ravelry. So if you'd like to try one of your designs, join the group and join the knit along. And then there was the gala dinner. So this was my first time at the gala dinner. And it's a beautiful event. Amy from La Bien Amie was the keynote speaker there. So she shared her story, this beautiful slideshow from growing up to getting married to moving to Paris to starting a business and how the business grew over the years, about her books. It was very informative and very inspiring to hear how this woman made it on her own, bringing her kids to work and growing her business. After the presentation, Nara from Knitleaks got to ask Amy some questions on stage. It was a very interesting interview. And if you haven't followed Knitleaks, it's a beautiful publication where you can read different articles and meet some makers. So I highly recommend you to check it out. There was a raffle with a lot of beautiful prizes, very generous prizes from the sponsors of Vogue Knitting Live. Unfortunately, I didn't win anything, but some of my friends did, so I was very happy for them. And overall, it was just a wonderful event, and I got to hang out with my friends and experience it together with them. And then Sunday was the last day of the show. I got up super early and went to the marketplace to interview some of the vendors before the market opened. It was great to get to know some of the people. I met some new people. I saw some of my old friends there. And I'm sure that for a few next months, you're going to see some of the people I've met at Vogue Knitting Live being interviewed on my channel.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Kevelson, owner of Clinton Hill Cashmere. We're a cashmere yarn company that makes garments and brings yarn, the best cashmere yarn to you guys.
That's what I've heard, that you have the best cashmere yarn. So how did you start with this?
So I fell in love with cashmere yarn almost 15 years ago, a little bit more. I graduated college and started working at String Yarns in Manhattan. And I had studied costume design and was a big knitter. And I learned from Linda Morris, who was the owner of the store at the time, and she wrote a book called Luxury Knitting. And she introduced me to the world of luxury knitting. My mom also is a big time knitter, and she had always given me real fibers and the love of the way the fiber is made and bringing it to my hands. So when I learned about how cashmere was created and the feeling and the garments that it created, I just fell in love. So after working at String, I then had a few years at Vogue Knitting magazine. And then after having my first child, I decided to start my own company, bringing the best cashmere yarn from Italy to all of you knitters.
Well, tell me what makes your yarn the best yarn?
So I work with a mill that has been around for centuries, and they create the best cashmere yarn for all the high-end fashion houses. So think Prada, think Louis Vuitton, places that you would get very, very good high-end luxury cashmere that's well made, long hair, spun well. And I work with them to create a hand knitting yarn. So typically they're used to making yarn for mass production or for machine knitting, also hand knitting for the high-end luxury fashion houses. But they create hand knitting in a ball form for me, specifically based on our gauge, the gauges that we want, and then I work together with them to create our color scheme. We bring in new colors every season, and we're looking at what is going on the runways, what's happening in the fashion houses, and then also what's going on in the knitting industry.
So what's your prediction for 2024? What's hot right now?
We just brought in a beautiful brown, and not everybody is a brown. I am a brown person. I really love rich chocolatey browns paired with blacks and neutrals, beiges. So we've added that to our collection this week. This is our newest color, so everybody here at Vogue Knitting Live is seeing it firsthand. It's more of a gray brown. We're calling it carob, and it's just that kind of rich gray, dark brown, and we can show it to you over there in a second. So this is our newest color. It's got kind of a tonal feel to it, so it's got a little bit lighter brown, a little bit darker brown within the dye, so that it's very universal. We are all produced in a mill, so everything is very even. Our dye lots are very close to it, if not exactly the same, and it's just got this real depth to it as a color. So I'm really looking forward to making some new garments for myself. I think it's a very nice universal color for everybody. I do think for spring we're gonna have to brighten it up with some new brights. So along with our yarn, we create customized patterns for our yarn. After working in a yarn store for so many years, I realized one of the big problems was that there's so many patterns out there, there's so many yarns out there, and for yarn shop owners and for us knitters to put those two together is a long process. So we wanted to provide the stores, our local yarn stores are the heart of this industry, we want to support them, and us knitters are really want to know how and what to use our yarn for. So we create it every season, every few months, we create new designs that work specifically for our yarn. So they're free patterns that come with the purchase of our yarn. So if you buy our yarns, you get the pattern complimentary from us. And these are very simple, classic, trendless patterns. So these are, think long-term capsule collection pieces that you will have in your wardrobe forever. We want to make sure you're spending time, money, energy on creating these wonderful, beautiful cashmere pieces. We want you to have them in your wardrobe for the end of time. So we have beautiful pieces like large capes that you can wear on a night out or every day. We have classic ponchos, basic pullovers, and a lot of wraps and shawls, because I don't think there's anybody that doesn't want to be wrapped up in cashmere. So we do a lot of wraps and big shawls that are great for travel. They pack well. Cashmere is a super, super light fiber, but it keeps you really, really warm. So airplanes, traveling to colder climates, it's really wonderful to have a shawl, a cowl, something that you can put over your neck, keep you really, really warm, but also don't feel like you're wearing this heavy, heavy garment.
Thank you.
My name is Nancy, and I have a knitting and gift boutique in Ridgefield, Connecticut. And today we're sharing a booth with Manos del Uruguay featuring fair trade products.
Thank you.
So I'm Ellen Lewis from Crazy for You, and we are having a fun time here at Vogue Knitting Live. I am excited to be the Rowan flagship booth and the Noro booth, and then our own combination of stuff in the middle. So it's been really fun to be able to meet all the different people. We have had so many really lovely people come through. It has been great. But you know, for me as a vendor, I love going around and meeting other vendors, you know, finding cool stuff to bring in. So that's been amazing. Like, you know, to be face to face with people that, you know, you do business with, and then to kind of put the, you know, then shake hands, right? Really sort of see people together. So that's been amazing. Yeah.
So what can we find in Crazy for You after this show?
So we found this wonderful, it's like amazing. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's, she does jewelry, so does knitting jewelry. So we're going to be bringing in these necklaces that look amazing, very modern looking, but when you look real closely at them, the little motifs around, they're needle gauges. Oh my gosh. And yeah, and so they have like row counters in there, and you can add little, like there's this little jeweled 2-inch measuring stick, and I'm so excited about that. So fun. Yeah, absolutely. And we are going to be bringing in a brand new yarn of line. We will be the US retailer for this. It's a Norwegian line, more on that later, but it's the most beautiful, soft, gorgeous yarn in the whole world. I mean, I've been selling yarn 20 years. This is some of the most lovely yarn I've ever seen. So that's super exciting.
I can't wait.
I think you're going to love it. So you don't have grandchildren yet, but my first grandchild is on the way. So I'm excited to knit all the things in this super soft yarn for...
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Do you? Yes, of course you do, right? Frida, is she so lovely? Yeah. So that's going to be super exciting.
I'm Lara Bellows, and my company is Jewel Designs, and I specialize in accessories that help you to achieve wearability and maximal style from your knitwear. So I see my product line existing solidly within the slow fashion or ethical fashion space, because all of those recalcitrant knits that are in your closet or in a drawer because you are struggling with how to get them onto your body, feeling comfortable and looking good, my styling tools resolve those problems in comfortable ways that are inspiring, that allow you to design with the knitwear on your body. So you're taking the two-dimensional piece that a knitwear designer created and designing it into compositions on your body that are exciting and fresh and new to you. I find new shapes in my knitwear every time I style with my styling tools. And the most powerful styling tool I make are these little components that I sell in teams, stud button sets of 3 components. They go in between the stitches, so you can create a connection anywhere on your knitwear just by popping that in between the stitches, popping the backing on, and then wherever your knitwear is going to fail, you make that connection. And that allows you to achieve this kind of what I call the bliss point of styling, where you feel good, you feel beautiful, it's comfortable, it's stable, it's not annoying, it's a set it and forget it kind of styling process. And I feel like proselytizing because they're just so good. I make shawl pins, I make shawl sticks, I make other kinds of closures, but it's the stud buttons that are like the super powerful ones that really can achieve something special.
Hi there, my name is Derek Rolberg. I work with Katia. We're a company from Barcelona in Spain, here representing the United States for Katia. My pleasure.
Hi, my name is Akeem Kidder. I'm known as the Yarn Art Guy. I make art by hot gluing yarn onto canvases.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
It is, exactly. It's like the front page.
Okay, hi, I'm Andy Forrest. I make knitted and crocheted wall art, also some sculptures. So about 95% of what I have by weight here is all recycled. So I have like some tabletops and other materials that I use for canvases, and then put knit and crochet on top of those.
So cool, thank you.
Thank you.
These ones are more like the abstract cards, which is kind of just so probably something like about 6 to 7 to about like 15 to
I also want to share with you some of the things I got at Vogue Knitting. So first, gift I received was from Julie Roswell, and Julie was a guest of my channel. She's a fiber artist from Nova Scotia, and she creates these beautiful lace shawls that she then turns into prints. So she gifted me this beautiful print. It's called The Waltz of the Dragonflies Remnant, squared number 19. And I love this print. It's so beautiful. It's, of course, you all know my love for lace. Another gift I received was 2 beautiful skeins of cashmere from Clinton Hill Cashmere. And I got to meet Rebecca for the first time. She's just lovely, lovely human being. We spent some time chatting, and she was very generous to give me these 2 skeins of her beautiful cashmere. There were also a few things that I bought. So one of them was a pair of these Prim needles. And I got to try them on the counter. They had like few projects there that you could try knitting with. And I'm curious to knit with them because they have steel cord that prevents it from tangling and spiraling. And they also have hook tips, which is supposed to help you to easy pick up the stitches. But because the hook tip is sort of rounded, you don't poke your finger if you push the yarn off the needle. So I'm very curious to knit with this. I also bought stud buttons, and this is the buttons that you use to secure your shawl or your cardigan. And this is by Jewel Designs. And you'll see a little mini interview with the owner of Jewel Designs. And it's beautiful and very useful, I thought. Also, thanks to Martin, the Welsh tanner, he introduced me to Nellie and Eve. It's a British wool from his neck of the wood. So I got to meet with the owners, and I bought these 2 beautiful skeins. Just look at this color. And it's really lovely wool, and I'm very excited to knit with it. And then I saw Ellen from Crazy For You wearing a sweater made with this yarn, and I had to have it. It just felt wonderful. It's Queen City yarn. It's dyed in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it's 115 grams, 245 yards. It's 65% silk and 35% linen. And it just gives the most beautiful stitch definition. It's also super soft, and it's not too hot for the summer. So I'm thinking of making some summer sweater with this. And of course, it's in my favorite color. You all know that. And as a part of the Big Apple package, you also receive a bunch of gifts from the sponsors. So one of them was this bag filled with goodies, including a skein of La Bien Amie and this beautiful book, Knitting the Neighborhood. We also got project bag by La Bien Amie, as well as the Notion bag. Overall, it was an unforgettable experience. I'm so glad I got to do all of those things, take those classes, and go to gala dinner and the cocktail reception. The best part for me, of course, was meeting all the people who watch my channel, people whom I interviewed on my channel, and probably future guests of my channel. I tried to film as much as I could so that you could experience this festival with me. I hope you enjoyed this recap. And until next time, happy crafting.